If you're struggling to enroll more students to bring in more customers to your business, there's a little known secret around selling that I'm going to unveil to you today. Hey everybody, my name is Jennifer Waters. I'm the Sales and Systems Sensei. I want to share with you these 3 frameworks that are going to really help you be able to get more students in your door or customers, whatever your business is. When I discovered these, it's really what took our business from making a couple of $100,000 a year to making over $1 million a year. Once you install this making money method, you won't be able to go back again. Everything will seem simpler, clearer on how to explain yourself when it comes down to sales. So let's dive in. First of all, I want to clear up any misconceptions. I actually used to be not so good at selling. I remember being a teenager and literally shaking because I was about to speak to an adult and try to sell them a $5,000 to $7,000 program. And back then, I just was going at it because everything was on the line. I really needed to make money for my family, for our business, and I knew that my mentor was telling me if I did these steps, I would just be able to start making that money. So I took a leap of faith and that's what I did. But the thing that I learned was it took more than actually just knowing a script. It took a mental framework in order to actually sell, especially selling what I would consider high ticket, or even selling something that was above that $500 to $1,000, $1,500 mark. It took a different set of skills than what I had previously known, which was like, hey, this is what we have to offer. What do you think? Did you like it? Do you want to buy it? And so I had to start thinking differently. Once I started thinking differently, it all changed. So that's what I want to show you today. You see, if you were to measure on a scale of 1 to 10, your level of conviction around the thing that you're selling, would you be at 10 plus? Think about that for a moment. It's not whether or not we believe that this product or this service is going to actually help this person. It's more about how much do we believe that to be true? Because if I'm passionate about how much something is going to help you, why wouldn't I shout from the rooftops? I mean, imagine this. Imagine that someone had the cure for some type of ailment that another person's family member was dealing with. And they had to make sure that this person were to get that cure so the family member wouldn't die. But they couldn't tell them that there was a 100% cure. They could only talk to them and tell them about what it could potentially do. And they had to convince that other person to actually take this product, give it to that family member so that they would be cured from this disease. They would be extremely convicted to do that, knowing already that it was scientifically proven there was a cure, but they couldn't tell that other person scientifically proven that it was a cure. They had to sell them on it. And literally, you have to understand that sales is just a transaction of trust. It's getting a person that doesn't know you, that doesn't know much about your product or your service, actually trust that what you say is true will actually come true. It's trusting in the sense that they're going to give you money to fulfill on the promise that you've told them. And if you're able to be convicted of that at a level 10 plus, the amount of trust that someone's going to give to you is going to match that. If you are at more of like, I'm kind of like, meh, kind of sort of maybe, I think that this is going to help them, they're going to be a kind of sort of maybe I'll give you money, which means they won't. You first have got to get extremely convicted on what you're selling and how it's going to help somebody before you do anything else. There's no magical script that's going to get you past that one thing. And then once you can do that, the next thing that you've got to do is you need to understand, just like I had to understand, that it's about leadership. You see, when I'm having a conversation with someone and I'm selling them and I'm talking to them about all the things that are going to happen, I'm leading them in that conversation. I'm showing leadership to them, and I'm leading myself in a confident manner so that when my speech, my talk is coming across, I'm presenting to them in such a way that they can feel that trust. They can feel like I actually know what I'm talking about because I'm a leader and I'm leading the conversation. I'm not a follower. I'm not letting them take charge of the conversation. I'm leading them through the step by step so that they can understand how this is going to fundamentally change their life. And if you can get that mental framework in place before you actually sell somebody, you will start selling more, exponentially more than you ever did before. This is the exact same process that I teach my sales team inside of my 7-figure school, as well as my sales team inside of our 7-figure coaching business as well. They've got to have a level of conviction that will allow that customer to trust them. The next thing I want to talk to you about are your conditions. So think about this. If you're in an area and it looks very disorganized, if it looks like the person who's selling to you doesn't know what they're doing, they're frantically searching for something, they don't have a very clear direction, those conditions for the sale are not very favorable. So when it comes down to selling, what I always tell my team is it needs to look neat, it needs to look organized. You need to look neat and organized. The process in which you're talking to someone should also be organized. Not over here for a little bit, then over there. It should be a thorough step-by-step process that you're taking that prospect through, because it's very hard to make a buying decision in the midst of chaos. Chaotic environments are not conducive to sales. So set your conditions before you even sell. Do you have testimonials on your wall? Are you dressed properly? Does it smell good? If you're in a brick and mortar location, does it actually smell good? If you're selling online, is there chaos on your screen? Is your desk messy? Set up the right conditions to actually be able to sell, and you will have a more favorable outcome, hands down. Okay, so the very last thing that you're gonna need in order to sell at a very high level and to make money with this making money method is you need to have good technique. Not even great technique in the beginning, just good technique. In order for you to have good technique in martial arts, there's a couple of things that we do. We practice a lot. We learn the step-by-step breakdown first before we start practicing. So typically an instructor is gonna break down that technique. It's gonna take you through the sequences of the technique, and then it's gonna ask you to slowly practice it. The instructor will then go and give you that step-by-step and critique you on the pieces that you don't quite have down. Once you've been critiqued on those pieces that you don't have quite down, the instructor then is gonna ask you to go back and practice and to get better at it. And you're not really gonna move on and add on more complicated techniques until you've started mastering that. What I find is that a lot of times with sales, we wanna master these crazy objection killers, and we wanna master this amazing closing statement that's just gonna really cinch it in and it's gonna get that person to say yes to the sale. But they're not willing to do the simple things like role playing or practicing your script in front of a camera and watching yourself, recording it back. They're not willing to do the things that will actually help them add on those layers of more advanced techniques. And so whenever I'm coaching my sales team to be able to perform at a very high level, I'm coaching them to master the basics. I'm coaching them to master the technique first before they try to add on more advanced techniques on top. So my question to you is, when is the last time that you practiced a proven role-playing script? When is the last time that you interacted with somebody else to actually role-play what you're doing? When is the last time that you took a video or a recording of yourself presenting and you critiqued yourself on that? If you're not doing those things, it's gonna be very hard for you to stack on more advanced levels. And you do need those more advanced levels, because if you're converting at 35% or 40%, we wanna get you up to converting at 60, 70%, and so on. And in order to do that, you're gonna need more advanced level techniques to be able to convert at that level. So when it comes down to conversions and it comes down to making money, getting a mental framework, setting that up, making sure that your conviction, your leadership is there, is super important. And then tying it in to the overall conditions of where you're selling from. What does it look like? Is it presentable? Is the prospect primed and ready to go? And then having an effective technique, having an effective role play or sales script in place to maximize all of the above is what's going to help you make more money on the regular. If you're getting a ton of value out of these videos, I have only one ask of you. Just hit that like button, maybe two asks. Hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.